have my most beautiful, it wasn't my best moment this morning. So I had to catch a flight and I was exhausted from working 2 days straight, a lot of hours, and I ended up moving my flight up early because I was concerned about delays. So I moved my flight up early. I woke up a little later than I needed to, and I called an Uber. Got out the place, got out the hotel, great. The Uber driver took me to the wrong gates, the wrong terminal. I was kind of like, how do you mix up these two letters of the alphabet? But I said, okay, I'm gonna keep the peace. You know, I've been thinking about it. People have been talking to me about it in their own lives and how peace is so important, right? So, I kept my peace, but I said, you know, drop me off because I don't want to miss my flight. I don't want to jeopardize my flight. And she was like, I'm so sorry. And I didn't want her to feel bad. So I was like, don't worry about it. It's cool. I was like, I just don't want to miss my situation. So she dropped me off. But then when I got inside the airport, there was a little bit of a line. It was less than an hour till my flight departed. I don't usually get to the airport that last second. I went up to the counter. I asked them, will you please help me? You know, my flight's in whatever time. I said, I need to get there quickly. She's like, okay, no problem. She gave me directions, but the way that she said them, you know, in hindsight, it made sense. But when I was that stressed out, it didn't make sense. I'm calling on the phone to customer service for the airlines. I was not the cheeriest person. The customer service rep was definitely not cheery. In fact, she was kind of rude, very nonchalant. I said, I have to make this flight. She's like, do you want me to call and let them know that you're gonna take another flight? I said, no, absolutely not. I will make this flight. So I was starting to panic a little bit. Somebody called me, a loved one called me, and they said, well, your flight's at 7:30. And I said, no, my flight's at 7. And they said, well, I think it's all gonna work out for you. And I said, okay, I'm going through security. I've got to get to the train. I gotta, you know, go to the other terminal. Well, what ended up happening is I went through security, I checked my phone, and they had delayed my flight till 7:30. So while I was in panic mode and they were trying to tell me that the flight was at 7:30, I didn't believe them because I knew what I knew, which was the last bit of information that I had, which was that it was at 7. I couldn't even hear them. They didn't make sense to me. It sounded like they were telling me a different flight. It wasn't a different flight. It was my flight. And I was getting emotional with customer service for nothing because it all worked out. It was all fine. And lesson learned is when you are not in peace, then you cannot hear. You can't hear reason. You can't hear common sense. My phone had not alerted me that the flight was delayed. It actually alerted me after that person called me. So I looked, you know, my phone now was reflecting exactly what I was being told. So now I had a hardcore proof, and that was plenty of time to get to the gate. The airlines ended up helping me, which I'm very grateful for. But, and I was more calm and very grateful. And I even called back to customer service and said, listen, I was not my best self. And the lesson here is there are a lot of things pulling on us. There are a lot of things to cause us stress and strain, and there are a lot of things to make us fearful. And all of the above can put us in a place where we lose our peace, we lose our chill. And the problem with that, even though it's justifiable, even though it seems like it makes sense for us to get upset, is to just be upset and to not be calm and to react. But I don't care how big the problem is. I don't care how global the problem is. We are not listening. And all around the country, I'm doing reporting ahead of my morning show, and we're talking to people about how we can be more unified. How can we be more unified as a country? And I hear a lot of things that are similar from all the people that I talk to. And one thing that's in the top 3 is be better listeners. If you can't listen because you are in a state of panic, this will never work. And so what I'm encouraging us all to do is to keep our peace and to keep our minds on the right things. What I had to remind myself and what I had to be positive about was that everything was going to work out, that I was going to make my flight. This wasn't the end of the world. There wasn't a big storm overhead. Like, we were going to make it. It was just in the moment, I did not want to miss a flight. I did not want to sit in the airport. We ended up getting delayed probably 45 minutes. But I was in my seat, I was on the plane, and all was well. So I think that instead of panicking, instead of getting emotional, instead of getting angry, instead of getting defensive, we have to actually say, it's all working out. It's all working out. I'm safe. It's all working out. Now, I know that those chants or those affirmations are not necessarily the first thing that comes to our mind when we get stressed out, but I'm working on it every day. I'm working on being intentionally calm, because when I panic, it's not useful. I want to be wise. I want to be savvy. I want to do the right thing. I want to, wear a mask when I'm inside. I mean, we're seeing all kinds of things, but I got my mask. We're seeing all kinds of things happen around the world, but panicking and losing our peace is never going to work when we need to hear the very information, the very instruction, the very experience, the very guidance that we need to be in that safe place. So that's my 2 cents. Hope it helps you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.